Welcome back, you lovely, lovely people. If you've stuck with me through this many cars so far, I'm very grateful to you because we've got 3 enormous car videos for our Saturday the 20th of July sale here at Manor Park Classics. We've also got an extensive bike video with the legend that is Mr. Steve Berry. Now, we're moved outside now. Good news is we've just saved up our pocket money. Soon, this will all be covered in a ginormous canopy, but for now, you can enjoy the fresh air and some very lovely motor cars, starting with this 2003 Jaguar XKR. So not just a beautiful XK, but the big, full-fat 4.2 with those gorgeous split rims on. Done 114,000 miles, this one. Fully operational roof, 11 stamps in the book, and just what an absolutely fabulous way to travel. These are, I think, in the bargain basement at the moment. You buy this one for somewhere between about 5.5 and 6.5 grand. Don't they look brilliant? They really do. They drive amazingly well. I think they just punch massively above their financial weight. And that's a very nice thing, that. Lovely colourway as well, black with a beige leather, which is in lovely condition. And if we get a summer, ever, that's the perfect car to do it in. Now this next car, one of my favourite cars of all time, this. Please have a look at this car if you're thinking. First of all, so 1998 C43, one of the greats. You've got the AMG monoblocks. I don't think there are many Mercedes that sit as well as this does, but cards on the table, guys, it's showing 92,000 miles, but it's had a speedo change. So we think this car has a historied 210. So because of that, even though it is what it is a very desirable collectible car. It's got a few little scabs and scuffs. She's definitely a project, and she's a higher mileage project, but don't forget, Mercedes will easily do 250,000 miles. And you can see there's a little bit of rust starting in a few places. It is by no means perfect, but what it is a phenomenal way to travel. One of the truly great estates, and it could be an utter bargain. And I think as a project car, if you're looking for an amazing project where you can add value and look incredibly stylish in the meantime, that's fabulous. That's on sale from the very first bid. So I say it's got the two-tone leather, genuine monoblocks, UK supplied car. I like that a lot, particularly as it could be very, very inexpensive, that. Moving on to this 1996 Golf GTI 20th anniversary. Mark IIIs are suddenly becoming desirable. Everybody's realising they're actually quite a decent car. This is nice. If you look, there's a little bit of work to do. You can see on the sill there, you're going to have to do some body work on there. It's only done 57,000 miles. It's only got one former keeper. So what you have here is the bones of a very good car. And as you can see, the interior is in really quite decent condition on this one. Drives and presents pretty well, I would have to say. A little bit of work to do, but the bodywork is very sound. And in a lot of places where these rot, this one hasn't. Nothing to do on the interior. Very small bodywork build to do. It's got its desirable splits, which will refurbish beautifully. So £5,000 to £6,000 on that one. It's got the original book pack as well. Some service stamps, but not all of them. I think they'll become quite expensive. Look at Mark II prices and how expensive they're getting. Mark III has to be next. And in some ways, they're a more capable car. And that being a genuine anniversary, future collectible, particularly as a 3-door, that one. Another no reserve little gem. Do love an MGB, and I'm a sucker for an MGB with a chin spoiler. I just think it looks so good. That's nice, isn't it? 1970, genuine example in need of restoration. To 21,000 miles, which I'd imagine is a speedo reset or around the clock. Interesting history, that one as well. Would make a good restoration. It's a good car. It's good. There's a lot to talk about there. It was exported to Cyprus in 1970 and registered back in the UK afterwards. So an intriguing history. It's got a Sprintsel Booch badge, which was a company that existed. And it's a tuning badge, that. So let's have a look at that. Where's that? Let me see. Oh yeah, so there you go. You've got a little bit of Graham Hill associated history on the back. That wouldn't be a hellish thing to bring back to its former glory, you know. I really don't think it would. And being a chrome bumper car, it's probably worth doing. But the main thing we love about that, it is MOT exempt, it's tax exempt, and you can choose how much it is. It's a no reserve car. All of this stuff like wings, I mean, this isn't structural rot anyway. But if you want to treat it to a new set of wings, British Motor Heritage, all of the people, Motor Clan, they will sell you all the parts you need for that. Get it back on the road. What a great way to travel. 2001 Mercedes CLK 320. What a lovely thing. No reserve, one former keeper. Again, this has got the AMG wheels on as well. Hood's in lovely condition on that one. 69,000 miles. It's recently had a lot of work as well. New tyres, wheel refurbishment with a diamond cut. Been rust-proofed underneath, new discs, new pads. So the repaint with the front wings taken off as well. 5 service stamps in the book on this one. Original book pack and wallet. And 2 sets of keys. Now this, to me, is the potential summer bargain that you have been waiting for. Right colour, right model, really good engine, hood's in lovely condition, wheels are in lovely condition as well. It was driven here, presents really well. You won't pay a lot for that, you'll pay a few thousand for that, low figure thousands. I just think it's fabulous. Let's have a look at the condition of the leather. Oh wow, the leather's in really good nick. Have a look through there. It's got the two-tone AMG leather as well. If you can see through there, Fraser, it's in remarkable nick. That will not be a lot of cash. But it will be a lot of fun and exceptionally stylish. And of course, being a true 4-seat convertible, take the kids and the dog. 2-seat convertible this, and very, very pretty. I do love an SL in red. I don't know why. I just think they look really, really good. Really suits the shape of the car. This is the 300, this one, SL24. 62,000 miles, 11 stamps in the book. All the book pack and wallet. It's just a really tidy, lovely car. Heated electric memory seats in that one. Fully operational roof. And you can still bag these, you can still get these for half sensible figures. This one is between 6 and 7, we've estimated it at. It's very nice on the body, I have to say. Very nice. Seats are good, bolsters are good, wood's in good order. It's got the hardtop in immaculate condition. I would say of all the SLs, this I think is the perfect balance between usability, desirability, affordability, all of that. It's in the sweet spot. You're not going to spend a lot of money buying it. Shouldn't cost you too much to run. You can use it every day if you want to, particularly with the hardtop, with the heated back window. And then they look good. You know, I keep saying it because I mean it. Don't lease a brand new car for 300, 400 quid a month. Buy a 90s Mercedes and run that instead. You'll save an absolute fortune and you'll look much cooler in the process. Not a Mark II Jag, but I think better and more interesting is the Daimler V8 250. So a little baby V8 engine in this, UK supply car. It's been in long-term storage, but it is in very, very good condition. I don't think this would take a lot to get this working again. I really don't. So bought in 2012 from a garage in St Helens, so it's been stood for 4 to 5 years, was garaged in 2012 and never moved or started. So possibly not started for 20 years. So it's very good on the body. I would imagine if you carefully recommission this, you could have a bit of a bargain. It's 5 to 6 grand, and don't forget it is the V8, not the standard Mark II. So in some ways more desirable, and certainly rarer. That's all right, that 5 to 6 grand. You could have a lot of fun with that. Also affordable cars that really punch above their weight aesthetically and in terms of road presence. How about this 1959 Australian supplied Mercedes 220. Look, we just pan around, look, Steve Berry is leaving the building. We're escorting him off the premises after a security check. Thank you.
See you Saturday,
See you, mate. See you Saturday. So watch mine and Steve's video. It's the longest video ever made on YouTube. It's about 5 hours long, but if you like motorcycles and if you like Steve Berry off of the top gears, it goes into great depth. But anyway, back to this. This is great. 48,000 miles. All duties are paid. It's got all its forms. Come from a dry country, which I think is one of the reasons it's preserved so beautifully, and appears to be complete. So this is a project, guys. But the steering wheel's on the right-hand side, which is always a bit of a bonus. The leather and interior is in a very good way. The wood, look, that wood doesn't need much at all, does it? Which is a big job on those. They're a big old bust, these, but they are very collectible and can be worth quite a lot of money when they're done. So if you fancy that, 5 to 6 grand, you can have that on your drive. But again, do bank on spending some time, effort and money to get it going. So it's all there, pretty much complete, but you are going to have to do some fettling and tickling. One of my true passions in life is air-cooled Volkswagens. And this is really nice. I have to say, this could be a very well estimated example. Left-hand drive, 13 window, 65 Type 2 Combi. So coming towards the end of the split screen ran to 68, this is a 65. So they really were quite sorted and nice to drive things, that. This one's been in the UK since 2014. Could be a great camper van, or you could just run it as it is, like a Combi. But it's decent. It's got the replica Samba trim on. It's very straight. Whenever you look down an old Type 2, look down the sides, because most of them are really, really wobbly. It's where they've either put panels in and the panels have distorted or they've been filled. And if you ever see them going along the motorway, but have a look down the side, that's a really straight side. It's got these jailhouse windows in which really work, I think. They're very nice. You've got ventilating opening windows there as well. Really charming colour combination. And it drives really well, the team says as well. That's got potential. A few little cracks and marks here. So you can just see a tiny bit of filler expansion on this side. but that doesn't put me off at all. The gutters are very good. In fact, guys, the gutters are exceptional. I would say, so we've estimated that at 13 to 15, I would say that's a blooming bargain, actually. If you could get that for 13 to 15, you could not buy a straight van. It's mega down the sides. Just look down the sides, Fraser. Look how straight that is. Because that's dark blue, that's a really hard colour to get straight. So it's had bodywork. I would say there's probably a tiny skim of filler in there, but they've done a very good job of the body. 13 to 15, that's nice. Just tiny little drop. Utter perfection, that would be. Now this couldn't be nicer for me. I even think the colour is perfect. So County, 1982 Land Rover 88, Series 3 County, upgraded with a 200 TDI engine in here. Pretty straight, I have to say. It's had a little bit of denting on the front wings. You could also put some checker plate on that, or just pop those out. That's decent. It's got the newer turbo diesel, so you could drive that every single day. Really nice period colour scheme. This is a rare and very expensive option, if you know your old Land Rovers. Period safari roof as well. You'll pay quite a lot of money just for that alone. And it does make a real difference to the temperature when you're driving in the summer. It's almost like an air conditioning because it extracts the air out. What else can I tell you about this? So it's russet brown with cream cloth interior. It's had the upgrade for a few years now, but I just think this colour works really, really well on this. I really like how level it is. It's very honest, this as well. I would say it's been painted, but a long time ago. And it looks good. It's level, honest, and kind of everything you see is what it is. That would be somewhere between £6,000 and £7,000. And I think it is rather nice. Now, if you ever go to Santa Pod, which I used to spend my entire life down there, you will know there's an amazing car there, Nissan Bluebird, that they call the Gluebird, which is the car that tows the glue that goes on the track at Santa Pod. It's probably one of the most famous Nissan Bluebirds in the world, and it's just super cool. Now, in my day, as a youth, Nissan Bluebirds tended to be either representatives cars or mini cabs when they got a bit older. So none of them really survived. They all got hammered. This one has spent a very cosseted life in France. This is a 1986 1.8 SGX Turbo. So this has the potential to be a quick old stick, this. 180,000 kilometres, which is about 111,000 miles. French car that came over here in 2022. Left-hand drive, don't let that put you off. And really very, very good on the body. It's super straight on this side. If you look on the driver's door or the passenger door, as it's a French car, a little bit of a bubble at the bottom. Presents really well. I think you will struggle to find another one of these in any condition, but to find a left-hand drive, which I think makes it a bit more interesting, in such a nice colour, needing so little bodywork, and it's no reserve, and I would argue that's probably quite a tunable car. Run that as it is, slam it on a nice set of wheels, tune it, get that door sorted. You'll be welcome at every car show in the world in that. I think that's got massive amounts of potential, and the potential for you to buy that for a very sensible figure. Do you remember when these were everywhere? Do you remember the old Escort vans? Everybody had these in the post office, British Telecom. Everybody had an Escort van, a 55 1.8D. You never see them anymore because, like so many commercials, they were worked and worked hard, and for that reason, they rusted away or got battered. This one is really, really straight. 66,000 miles, fresh MOT, loads of paperwork, really quite clean. A few little bits and pieces. There's a little crease on the wing there, but what there isn't is really any rust at all. Seats are very decent. So I don't know what it was doing, but I would wager not much hard work. A tiny amount of cauliflowers just starting on the edge of the wings, but that is remarkably clean. If you want to do either a works project van, something interesting, you haven't got a lot to do there on that one. That's very, very level. Moving on to this, a genuine 2003 Alpina B3 E46, very rare, genuine Alpina. On the chassis plate is an Alpina as well. Automatic, 102,000. Comprehensive history file on this one as well, with MOTs, backing up the history. Low owners for the year, and driven here to the sale room as well. It's actually got a silver hardtop with that as well. So not only is it a genuine Alpina, and just the front bumper alone on those is worth so much money, and that is the real deal. That is the proper thing. It's a great car. So if you're not familiar with Alpina, I'm sure those that know BMW will. You can obviously have the M product, but Alpina was the hand-built, hand-finished division with very sexy, very expensive engines. Also the Alpina wheels alone. So everything on this car is very expensive. You've got, if you notice, the hidden valve The valve for the wheel is hidden inside. So the detailing on Alpina, the fit of the spoilers and the body kit that they had, each one hand finished, each one very exclusive. You do have to watch that you're not buying a fake, but this has got everything to prove it's the real deal. So because of that, somewhere between 9 and 11 grand to buy you that motor car. Very beautiful. Moving on to this, a little bit more affordable, but no less desirable. 2003 320. This has only done 22,000 miles. So if you're looking for a proper little summer cruiser, this could be the one. 22,000 miles, one former keeper, full service history, lovely colour combination as well. You've got the dark metallic blue with the beige leather in there. Matching set of Michelin tyres, it's been well looked after, and over £3,000 spent at Munich Legends. Now I film with those guys, they really know their stuff. Fabulous operation. So to me, it's just telling me a picture of a car that's been maintained regardless of cost. That said, and despite the fact it's got a £3,000 bill just been spent, you could buy that for somewhere between 5 and 6. So to me, that does seem like an awful lot of car for the money. Parking sensors on the back as well. Fabulous, fabulous thing. Really lovely way to travel around for summer. Can't see that losing a huge amount of money if you maintain it in the standard and to the quality that it's used to. Real bargain basement stuff now. One of my favourite colours. I think this is Boston Green as well, which is one of my favourite BMW colours. E36 323 cab. Now this is no reserve because she does need a little bit of love. Great colour, great spec. It's a manual car as well. 3 former keepers. The previous owners had it for 19 years. It's been to France and Spain. It's been all over. 15 stamps in the book. So I would say this is probably a reliable and usable little car. A couple of tiny rust bubbles on the rear wing and rear arches. They're just starting to go. So bank on, if you want to keep it nice, put a couple of arches. Yeah, both rear arches will probably need a little bit of work. The hood's just starting to show a few signs of aging. You can see where it's had to be sealed to keep the water out there. So you might want to just give this a bit of love going forward. But the nice thing is, no reserve car, 149,000 miles, and it's a manual. E36s are rightly becoming quite desirable and quite expensive now. You could bag yourself a brilliant project that you can cruise around in all summer, and then in the winter maybe spend a bit of money, get those arches sorted, maybe pop a new hood on, have a lovely car. This is fun, isn't it? Again, do you remember when these were everywhere? This was a car that in the 90s, these little Fiestas, this is a 1.3 LX. They were everywhere, weren't they? And this is a fantastic car to take to Festival of the Unexceptional. We've got wheel trims on this one, 28,000 miles, fully time warp spec car this. The interior is absolutely beautiful. Only 3 owners. And if you're looking for a car to give yourself a starter classic, may I suggest you start here. It's got everything you need. Easy to drive, easy to live with, super cheap and easy to run, parts on every street corner, anyone can fix it for you, and just fabulous. And as I say, if you bring this to Festival of the Unexceptional, the Haggerty show, next weekend, this will go down like free sweets. It's on 28,000 miles, can you believe that? Great history with it as well. So do have a look at that. It's going to be no reserve, it's going to be very inexpensive, and you get to choose the price. Talking of Festival of the Unexceptional eligible cars, here's another absolute treat that could do very well at the show. This is a 1997 Vauxhall 1.4 Expression. We're saying time warp on this because this is very nice. This is only really a valet away from being almost a show quality car. 23 stamps in the book. 23 stamps since 1997. So that is pretty much almost a service every year, isn't it? Since 1997, and I think that shows. So obviously aesthetically very pretty, and mechanically I would imagine with that many stamps in the book, ready to go. Also the paint's been maintained obviously to a very high standard because there's really no discoloration on this. All the panels are pretty much identical colour. Don't forget this red oxidides and fades. So I would say this has been kept really well. Beautiful little car that. Again, fantastic starter classic. You never see them, the Mark III Astras. I think they're very pretty. If you're a younger driver getting into classics for the first time, so my kids and my oldest, when they wanted a classic for her, I was looking for something with an airbag because it's just a tiny bit safer. These do have airbags, so you're trying to find that classic that's cheap to buy, cheap to run, slightly safer than the average classic. There you go, and no reserve. So once again, you set the price. I think that's lovely. These look very pretty, don't they? And very cheap all of a sudden. 2001 BMW Z3 2.2 Roadster. It's manual, it's got the right wheels on it, 13 stamps in the book, it drives really well. There's a few things to do. You can see it's had the sills texture painted there. You might want to go over those and just do those again to make it very nice. Service history is really impressive. So 13 stamps in the book, all the manuals and instruction books as well. It's got the 17-inch alloys, which I think make it. And they are a good car. These drive phenomenally well. Most of the bits underneath are just 3 Series parts. Always check the roof, and the roof is quite decent on this. The back window's in pretty decent shape. So again, you've got a lovely car that you could drive, enjoy today, and it's a no reserve car with 73,000 miles on it. A car that you can just have a bit of fun with. I would say all about buying these really lovely, inexpensive cars that you can have a bit of a laugh with. These are great to drive as well, particularly in the manual form, that you can improve and add value as you go. Classic cars don't have to be expensive to have fun, and there's a great example. Now you will need to spend a bit more on this one. These are quite a special car now, and actually if you look at the cars that it's sold against, very, very rare. When was the last time you saw one of these in any condition, let alone in this lovely condition? 1999 Honda Accord Type R. Really great example this of Honda's understated sporting saloon. And what can I say, 64,000 miles. Service book is completed up to 51,000 miles with loads of bills and invoices in there. The exterior, the interior, the wheels, all the things you've got to watch. Great condition. The Recaros are in lovely condition. It's a low mileage for the year with only 4 previous owners, and it really is very lovely on the body, this one. Going through the paperwork, previous MOTs back to 2003. It's got the Type R specific book pack as well, that's nice. And invoices on the file, over £6,000 has been spent on this car since 2020, so you've got very conscientious owners. So £6,000 spent in the last 4 years, but you could buy that car for somewhere between 6 and 7. So I would say that's cracking value. Great to see such a nice car, such a rare car, so well looked after. Now Boxsters, if you've never driven a Boxster, you have missed a trick. Because although people always unfairly compare it to the 911, in many ways, Boxster's actually dynamically a superior car. The balance is better, the engine's in a more logical position, and they're huge amounts of fun. Really wonderful car to drive, and again, not an expensive car to buy. This one's great. This is 2003, 73,000 miles. It's Tiptronic, which isn't everyone's cup of tea, but the beautiful thing about Tiptronic, which is 90% of the time you're cruising and wafting anyway, and in which case it's probably the better gearbox. And when you do want to go and hustle it a bit, you can flip it into the manual mode, you can go up and down the gears. But let's be honest, you just drive, enjoy. Best colour combination of Gars red with black. It's the classic Porsche sports car combination. Low owners, and starting to become, it's the Boxster S, so the bigger engine, the 3.2. That's a bargain, guys. 5 to 6 grand is the estimate on that. So as I say, drive it on the steering wheel, the gear change. And that doesn't need much at all. That's a really presentable little car with good history. Yeah, it's got lots of bills, a little bit of MOT history with it as well. That is very nice. I think, again, we'll look back at some of these Porsches in years to come and laugh when they were 5 or 6 grand. I don't think it'll be long before that's much nearer to 8, 9, possibly even a 10 grand car, even as a Tiptronic, just because they're so drivable. Very nice mileage on that one as well. 87 BMW 320 E30, 85,000 miles. This is interesting because it's also 4-door. So you normally pay a massive premium, and we've got one on our first video, lovely 320 manual 2-door. That's going to be between about 10 and 12 grand. Auto 4 doors, which are probably more of a wafter, much nicer cruising classic, no less desirable from a driver's point of view, will be much cheaper. This car's no reserve. 85,000 miles, the 6-cylinder 2-litre, which we could argue is one of the nicest engines ever made. Super smooth, super well balanced. What a lovely thing. First registered 1987 with Chandler's BMW. And I say it's got some decent history and it's nice on the body. It's not too bad at all. Looking at things like the arches, tiny bit of very, very early corrosion on the rear arches, very, very early. Front wings are great. Again, a car that you can just drive, enjoy, have fun with, add value to. Brilliant starter classic. They really are a lovely thing to drive, and the interior is very good on that. Well, how about some more cheap summer fun? Love this. 2002. Can you believe this car is now 22 years old? Talk about getting the design language so right that it still looks fresh, doesn't it? It doesn't look anything like its age. 58,000 miles on this manual car. Really nice colour combination. So we've got silver coachwork, black leather, blue roof, stainless surround. Great stuff. Recently had an MOT, flew straight through that with no advisories. So anything I can really criticise this car on, headlights want a bit of a refurb. I would argue that that's the wrong size tyre for that wheel, but they're all the same size. But that's a no reserve car. That could be easily another bargain of the sale. 22-year-old car, with no mileage on, good history. Let me give you a little bit more detail. The interior is lovely. There's a little bit of misting on the headlights, as we say, so give that a scrub. The book pack's in there, and we've got stamps up to 50,000 miles, so it's probably ready for service and light recommission, but have some fun with that and get a tan at the same time. Another brilliant no reserve cars. Love no reserve stuff because you get to choose the car. 4.2 convertible XK8, starting to become quite rare now. And what's nice about these is, like I say, this will not be a huge amount of money. The hood trim is just getting a little bit ragged, but that will dye and clean up beautifully. The leather's not bad at all. The mileage is not bad, 128,000. It's going to be inexpensive. What we're trying to do, as you can hopefully see, is bring cars into the sale where there are a few thousand. Cars that you can get down and enjoy your classic car journey, cars that you can add value to, cars that you can put into your collection and have some fun with. We do have some big ticket items in this sale, but this is, to me, this is the joy of classic car motoring. All of my classic car collector friends, some of whom have really nice, really expensive cars, where we have the most fun is at 2 grand, 3 grand, 4 grand, because it's just there's less pressure in having and owning a car like this, and where you park it and where you use it. And I guarantee you'll spend a lot more time in an inexpensive car than you do in an expensive one, and you'll fall in love with it just as much. 15 stamps in the book, fabulous colour, loads of paperwork, and as I say, no reserve. You tell me what you think that's worth. Now this is very dear to my heart. I have a Volkswagen T25. This is an early one. So T25 was the van that replaced the bay window, and for 1 year only, the 1980 and 81, they did this unique vent. So only the 80, 81 cars have these vents. The later ones have the grille put in. And this is an interesting camper conversion. I think this was probably done in period in 81. I don't know who the converter is, but you've got your camper interior in there. I'll be dead straight with you. It's not the greatest paintwork ever, but it's all there and it looks pretty solid on the body. What you do have with this one though is a Subaru engine. So it's an 81 example, it's MOT exempt, and in 2017 it had a Subaru engine from a 2001 donor car and a brake overhaul and some welding done. The cost of that was nearly £6,000. Now I've got the 2-litre air-cooled one, and it's a great engine, it's very characterful, but my God, it's slow, and my God, it's thirsty. And I think what you get with this is actually a much nicer thing to drive on the motorway. If you're going on any kind of camping holiday, this would be much more fun. And actually the interior, if you come and have a look, Fraser, through the window, it's very pleasant in there. It looks like you've got your fridge, your worktop, your storage, your little table in there as well, your rock and roll bed so you can have a sleep. That's a lot of fun, but again, no reserve. Those Subaru engines really make a much more drivable, usable conversion out of these, and they're an expensive conversion. So 7 years ago, it was probably the thick end of 6 grand to do it. I bet you'd probably find it's more like 10 grand to do it now. And they really shovel along. I like that. Needs some tidying, needs some work, but in the meantime, you can be having lots of cheap weekends away and get yourself into the Volkswagen team, which is a great place to be. When did you last see one of these? Lancia, Gamma, Berliner, 2500, 1979. Just rare to find in any condition, but a UK supplied right-hand drive car, just unheard of. Fantastically stylish, 71,000 miles, it's manual, only 4 former keepers, really nice red fabric interior. Original paint that is, guys. Never been welded, it will require recommissioning, and you'll probably want to start chasing this rust. So what's nice about this is everything you can see is on show. The interior is phenomenal, but I would get into this quite quickly. So it's not rotted away yet. I think if you start getting onto this, you're not going to have a problem, but catch it early because it's actually really sound. Things like the wing edges, nothing has gone into full structural rot yet. It's just the start. Very rare car. I guarantee you won't be many of those at any classic car show you go up to. Original service book, it runs, it drives, it stops. It's all there, it's complete car for restoration. And I don't think it would take much. If you own a body shop or are a painter, it's a perfect car for you because mechanically it's all there, the interior doesn't need any work, and it just needs body shop. No reserve, you said the price. XKR 4.2 Coupe from 2006, only 50,000 miles from new, only 2 keepers from new. Isn't this pretty? It's been with the current owner from 2016, 11 stamps in the book on this one as well, complete with the backpack and the wallet. All of that was driven here, 2 sets of keys, all the things you want. I just think these look phenomenal value. Super quick car, making a wonderful noise these as well. And as I say, with those 11 stamps in the book, I think you'll be quite okay. It looks really good in silver. Alloys are very nice and not curbed as well. Look at that interior. What do we say about late 90s, early noughties cars? You can buy them, you'd buy that for 10 or 12 grand. Looks as good as anything you could buy off a showroom floor. Find yourself a good Jaguar specialist and just win at life. Now how about this? Do you want a sporty coupe with all of the options, but you like good MPG? How about this? A 635 diesel sport individual. So individual options on this, there are lots of them, 133,000 miles. So it's a nice higher mileage, it's going to make the car really price rangy. Great history with this one as well, stunning appearance, unbelievable specification. I wonder if it will tell me here how much this was when it was new. Let me tell you, electric glass sunroof, individual audio system, BMW assist, it's got the 19-inch alloy upgrade, high beam assist, professional navigation, enhanced Bluetooth system, USB, heated seats, sports seats, high gloss shadow line exterior. Someone has ticked every option on this car. I bet this was like the size of a small house, the bill on this, when it was new. But today, after all of this, and 10 stamps in the book, £5,000 to £6,000. If you're looking for a daily smoker just to hack up and down the motorway, doing probably 40 to 50 mpg, what a way to do it. Again, don't get a lease car, get that. Smoke that up and down. Another Morris Minor Traveller. This is one, we've got a little lovely resto mod. This is much more of a traditional restoration and very clean, very tidy, and the wood's lovely on this as well. 39,000 miles, great history file going all the way back to the 60s. And if you're looking here, fabulous interior as well. Got an MOT put on in March of 2024, so she's got MOT through to March 2025, and a restoration with loads of pictures as well. So super honest, open little car, paperwork that goes all the way back. There's a bill from 2011 for £1,000 for sourcing and replacing an engine. So there you go, it has an engine replacement about 11 years ago. Cracking little car, just so usable, so lovely and so cute. There will always be a market for these because they're such a great classic. Again, wonderful spares package, wonderful owners club, usable car that everybody understands, everyone can fix. 6.5 to 7.5 grand, if you fancy that. As the home of the nation's SLs, how about a 350 2010? It's a facelift example which looks really good with the funkier lights. This one's done 70,000, but it says C-Tech, so I would imagine we've got some kind of speedo change going on in here as well. There's acres and acres. Yes, the MOT history from the 7th of April 2014 shows a mileage of 70,000, and the MOT from 2016 shows a mileage of 50,000. So I would suggest it's had a change. So add 20,000 miles at least to the mileage showing. So it is currently showing 70,000. Let's say that's probably more likely to be 100,000 looking at the MOT history, but it's the facelift version, it's high specification, it's got the air scarf in the seats, which keeps your neck warm. Beautiful colour combination. Parktronic, electric seats, auto dimming mirror, glass roof, which is lovely on these. It's got heated seats, heated screen wash, mega spec. Because of that, about 6.5 to 7.5 is the estimate on that, but please do, as I say, check the history. You'll see if you go through the MOTs, you'll see the mileage drop. So I think if you add between 20 and 30,000, you'll be bang on. I think it's had a speedo correction on that. This is making me chuckle, and these were good enough for everybody. Everyone from the Prime Minister to Her Majesty the Queen to King Charles. Everybody at some point drives in a DS. Maybe it's the last journey you'll ever make. But this one is interesting because they are quite funereal, the DS420s, but this is unusual because it's a launderette. So this, all of this folds down here from the back. The idea being if you are Her Majesty the Queen, you fold that back, and of course you can wave to your subjects and you can be seen, and also if it's a nice day, you get a little bit of breeze in your hair. Pretty rare. Low owner car, this one. It says 4,600 miles. I wouldn't have thought that was all the mileage, although you never know with these cars. The thing about these old DSs is not all of them do massive miles. A lot of them just potter. And it's pretty straight. Now, what would you pay for something like that? Despite the imposing presence, despite the royal patronage and the fact that everybody, global dictators, superstars, everybody uses these and they are a mega thing, 4.5 to 5.5. You've got occasional seats in the back as well, so it will seat about 7 or 8 people in there. Hear me out, I'm saying get the gang together, down to Le Mans next year in this, some kind of funky John Player Lotus graphics down the side, you would win Le Mans. Do that in a JPS logo, take it to Le Mans, win at life, or wedding hire, film hire. So many lives that car could have, and for 4.5 to 5.5 grand, doesn't need to be expensive. It really doesn't. SLK, if SL's too big for you, have an SLK. Lovely little no reserve car, 53,000 miles this one. It's got a G-Technic treatment, so it's all sort of ceramic coated and very impervious to water. Fresh MOT on it, drives and presents really well, lovely history with 12 stamps in the book. A mixture of Mercedes main dealer and Mercedes specialists. Loads of invoices, loads of receipts. They even had a B service in March 2024, so there you go. She's ready to go, ready to enjoy and have some fun. And no reserve. We really are trying very hard to work with our vendors to get no reserve, because it works beautifully for both vendors and buyers. We then can set the price between us of what we think the car's worth. And also as a vendor, when you set no reserve, what happens is more people register to bid, more people get excited. And when you've got more people bidding on your car, often the car fetches more, conversely. So actually cars with no reserve often fetch higher final prices than cars with a reserve. That's the psychology of bidding. Everybody likes to be reassured. One of my favourite cars, I do love an XJS. And this is interesting for many reasons. We're getting towards the end now, 95, we are very much towards the end of the Jaguar's life. But what do you notice about this, guys? Left-hand drive, 24,000. It's been in the US from 1995 to 2018. It's a really beautiful colour combination, this one as well. Nice history file with it. 24,000. Now, we've got this on no reserve. I might have a cheeky bid on this myself because I love left-hand drive cars. Isn't it great? Hood's good. Let me talk about history for you. The history we've got is only the UK history, as you'd expect. We've got loads of invoices, loads of receipts, recommissioning work. It's got a fresh MOT up until May 2025, and it's got 24,000 showing, but it has had a speedo change. So again, please bid with caution, because the mileage showing is less than the actual mileage. Obviously, because it's an imported car, we don't know what the final mileage is, but that's why we say no reserve. Right, moving on, 1980 MGB GT. You know what I think about rubber bumper cars? I think they are the gateway into a really nice, very usable, very affordable car. But yes, not as widely regarded as the chrome bumper cars, and to many people not as aesthetically pleasing, but no less fun to own. No less fun to drive. This is great on the stag wheels as well, isn't it? Doesn't it look good? Bare metal restoration with photography, really nice interior, lovely exterior, loads of invoices, loads of paperwork, including the heritage certificate, correctly registered as a historic vehicle. So all of that, absolutely bloody brilliant. Look at that with a great interior as well. And for that you will pay the princely sum of somewhere between £5,000 and £6,000. That is a really lovely, presentable, usable little car. Like we always say with the BGTs, rear seat and hatchback, room for the shopping and the dog, and so much legroom. I will get into that car and I can stretch my legs out. Unheard of. Do you want a bargain wafter that exudes a presence and style far in excess of its price tag? You, my friend, need a CL500. This is a 2000 with 79,000 miles on the clock, amazing service history and astonishing condition and presentation, this one. 2 previous keepers, every MOT from 2003, got a fitted car cover, mega spec, and just had suspension and a new battery. These are very battery sensitive, these. They get very upset when the batteries get low. That's been done. You're looking at that thinking, crikey, that's a 20, 30 grand car. When it was new, it was so much money. Today, despite the condition, despite the history, despite all those MOTs, £4,500 to £5,500. And I guarantee you will feel very, very special driving that. You do need to take a bit of a brave pill. You do need to find a good specialist. But do both of those things, you'll have a wonderful time driving that. I'm in love with this. I love a T1 anyway. I think they're one of the coolest cars. I think they're cooler than a Shadow. I think they're more attractive than a Shadow because you get the nicer cowl. But the colour. Now this is interesting. Jack Barclay, if you know your Bentleys and your Rollers, you'll know who Jack Barclay are. This was originally registered to Jack Barclay as Mr. Victor Barclay's personal car. So it's showing 53,000 miles. History of all the previous owners. That registration number, which it's always had, stays with it. It's got its original bill of sale. It's got the incredible Percotex interior, which I think is so good, so period. It will need a bit of recommissioning this. It has got a full comprehensive history file, and it's had some recent work, so it's had a damaged ring gear sorted, gearbox inspection, fuel pump. So she's by no means perfect, but we're talking mega history, mega spec. The colour, can we just talk about the colour? That's an 11 from me. I don't think you'll see many T1s anyway. They're quite a rare old bus now. I don't think you'll see another one in yellow anywhere in the world. Isn't it brilliant? And the fact it's a Barclay car, get that bought. Get that bought, get it just finalised and finished. I think that has the potential to be absolutely brilliant. And at no reserve, just great fun. Cars that I think are guaranteed future classics. Alfa Romeo Spider, 2-litre twin spark Lusso. So that's Steve Berry being really noisy in the background. There he is. He can't leave, he's so excited. It's because he's hanging around so many no reserve cars. He just knows he's getting tempted by the bargains that are on offer. So there you go. Steve Berry was big in the 90s. Well, he's big now, but this was big in the 90s. The Alfa Romeo, fabulous. Very rare, very collectible, very hard to find a good one that's either inexpensive and not completely knackered. 94,000 miles, manual car, in a great colour. Look at the interior on that as well. Another brilliant starter classic, another way to get yourself into a classic car for not huge amounts of money. Isn't that great? There you go. No reserve, you set the price. Now we're getting into desirable rare cars now. How about a VR6 Storm? They only made 500 of these. This is particularly nice. I think it's had new dampers on it because it's riding very high on the back. That normally means gas pressure. So run out limited edition, the final Corrados. 2 sets of wheels, so you've got your original BBS. It's had spent on it in the last year £5,404. That's all documented. So if you're looking for the run out special, all of the hard work done for you, let me see if I can find it. It's had 24 services in the book. Let me see, wow, there's pages and pages. So service, which included an invoice for £3,900 in 2023. New starter motor, some of the new suspension. Yeah, there you go. It's had all new suspension. So I would suggest that's brand new gas dampers, and when they go on, the gas pressure forces the back of the car up. That's why she's sitting so high. So that will settle down when you use it a little bit more. It's been at Stealth. Those guys are very good, but they're not cheap. Another £888 has been spent this year on heater matrix. So there is a nice, no questions car. A car that will go up, a car that's always desirable and collectible, and a car that's had a huge amount of money spent on it. £7,000 to £8,000. Good value that, when you look at the money. Pull the bills on that. If you're thinking about a Corrado, you might find a cheaper one for sale, and then you will have to do all of the jobs that that one's had. My advice to you is buy the one that's got all the jobs done. You'll spend a little bit more to buy it, and you'll save an absolute fortune. It's always the best way. Then from someone who's done it the wrong way many, many times. 1999 MGF 1.8 VVC, so the lovely variable valve control engine. No reserve car, best colour, British Racing Green Metallic, 46,000 miles from new. It's a manual, it's been with the current owner since 2005. Cherish plate comes with it as well, that stays with it. It's just a nice car, it's really level, it's really straight. It's got good history, good MOT, it's got good bones, it's got matching Goodyear tyres, and we know about inexpensive cars. When people put expensive tyres on inexpensive cars, it's because they care, it's because they're decent owners. It is really bright, really level, this, I have to say. Again, MGS is one of those cars, like the difference between a really good one and a pretty average one is only a couple of thousand, so always stretch to buy the best one you can, because the lack of jobs you'll then have to do and the amount of additional fun you'll have not spending the money and just driving it is always worth it. But that said, that car is no reserve. That car could be very much a genuine bargain. And at that mileage, which we are pretty sure is correct, if you look at all the history, that's a lot of fun. That's probably a retail quality car. If you're one of our lovely trade customers, I don't think that's much more than a clean away from going on the showroom floor. And finally, how about this? 2002 BMW M3, 3.2, modern classic. I'm looking through the window, hoping to see the gearbox. It's an SMG. That is a rare, rare option, this one. So SMG gearbox, as you know, unusual. They're not bad. They're not as bad as people think. Obviously, the CSL had them. Current owner's had it for 11 years. Desirable sunroof model, 11 stamps in the book. It's got the 19-inch alloy upgrade as well. And I think this is a very good way of getting into a lovely coupe, because the SMG does make them a little bit easier and cheaper to buy. So what else can I tell you about it? It's nice. It's just all standard. Lots of bills, say lots of stamps, and a really nice spec. I've driven quite a few SMG cars. They really are quite a decent thing. The manual is obviously the one that everybody pays all the money for, but I think if you're just driving in normal traffic most of the time, actually, an SMG, there are various things and fixes and tricks you can do to them to make them shift even better. So there you go, that is the last of our 3 videos. Please like, subscribe, leave in the comments what you'd like to see more of, and please register to bid. Even better, come and join us from Saturday, 9 o'clock. Auction starts at 10.